Charles Harris, he's 28 years old. Last season signed a 2-year contract that was worth $14 million. This offseason, he was due $6 million of that $14 million, but he restructured his contract to make now $3 million. So he cut it in half. Now, Charles Harris was injured in the majority of the season last year. He did go on IR. I believe it was like weeks number 7. I love this about Charles Harris because that's exactly what Detroit's about. You know, Charles Harris was up here. Then he got injured. I mean, when I mean up here, in 2021, he had 65 tackles and 7.5 sacks. So he was up here. I mean, highly touted, highly talked about player on and off the field, on and off the practice field as well. So he was up here. He got injured. He played in 5 games, had 14 tackles and 1 sack last season. I believe he went on injured reserve, like I said. I believe it was week number 7. So played in about 5 games. And so now he's starting at ground level. What do I love about that? That is exactly Detroit. Like, prior to the 1960 riots, Detroit was up here. And, you know, after that, we got knocked down. We're, you know, the laughingstock. We're this, we're that. But now we are starting to work our way back up. You know, we hosted a Super Bowl. We're hosting the NFL draft, things of that nature. So we're working our way up. Countless amount of championships from the Red Wings, the Pistons, etc., and so on. So we're working our way back up. And that's exactly the mindset that Charles Harris is bringing into the 2023 season. I believe he's going to make this team because Charles Harris, he's a no-nonsense, I'm going to work my way back up type of guy. And that's Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes in a nutshell. So I absolutely love Charles Harris. You know, he saved us $3 million to put towards, you know, helping out the team. He could have just said, well, hey, I only make $14 million in 2 years. That's about $7 million a year. And I'm only going to get paid $6 million on this year. So why should I take a pay cut? But he didn't have that type of mentality. He said, you know what? Hey, if $3 million is going to help this team win and get to where we want to be at, which is, you know, playing in January and late in January, maybe even into February, then, hey, I'll take a $3 million pay cut because I want to make sure that we're there where we're going to try and make it at, which is, you know, deep into the playoffs, maybe in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying we're going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, like, that's obviously every player's goal is to make it to the Super Bowl. So that's where I'm going at with that. But, like, that's the mindset of Charles Harris. Like, I absolutely love it. And even when Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes stopped their press conference just to say a player's name, you better keep an eye out on that player. Because 9 out of 10 times, that means this player is probably going to make this team. Charles Harris, I believe, because Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes literally stopped press conferences just to say, hey, shout out to Charles Harris kind of thing. I am led to believe that Charles Harris is going to make this 53-man roster. And if he can return to that 2021, where I'm saying, you know, right around 65 tackles, 7.5 sacks, he's gonna get a nice little payday. I don't know if it will be from Detroit, but it could be elsewhere. But it could also be Detroit. I mean, Detroit's going to have, what is it, about $107 million in cap space next season if we don't spend anything now? Because we have $23 million, almost $24, plus the $84 million that we currently will be opening up next season. So 23 and 84, that's 107. So, yeah, I mean, he could definitely get paid next year. Like I said, 28 years old, he'd be 29, maybe even 30 when next season happens. I don't know exactly when his birthday is, but, you know, right around 29, 30, he could get, you know, a couple-year deal, a nice little pay raise. Maybe now he gets $6 million that, you know, even after a pay cut he can make. Charles Harris, he's one of my favorite guys on this Lions team because he doesn't have to be flashy. But what he's going to bring is that veteran leadership. Hey, come underneath my wing. I'm going to teach you how to play this position to one day take over my job. That's the guy that Charles Harris is. He's unselfish. He's a veteran. He's a leader. You know, he's the unsung captain of the team that he might not have a captain patch, but he sure as heck acts like a captain. You need those guys. I call him a glue guy. You need those glue guys to get everybody on the same page. And with a relatively young defense, Charles is a very big key piece into what we're trying to do this year, which is, yeah, we're going to win. But we got to also still develop as we win. So that's Charles Harris in a nutshell. Like, I'm excited about Charles. Let me know if you're this excited about Charles Harris as well. Because, like I said, he does the things that not a lot of people will do. And that's take pay cuts or, you know, groom a guy that's going to eventually take his job. Nobody wants to lose their job. Nobody wants to do different things, lose out on money. But Charles doesn't care about that. He just wants to go out and play some football at a high level. And he's willing to work his tail off. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And here's a friendly reminder that we are trying to grow this community. We'll get to wherever we get to when we get there. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video because grit don't quit, one pride, baby. Peace.